Hey, what's going on, Jabsters? This is your boy SYNTELL, and we are going to do a breakdown of the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Now, this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to kind of break it down moment to moment. You're going to get a chance to walk through some of my process, and honestly, it's just going to be one of those things where it's like the first thing that comes to mind, it's going to be the first thing we kind of talk about. If you are a fan of this channel, please make sure you hit the subscription button, hit the bell icon to allow notifications, and of course, leave a like. That allows YouTube to know that you're digging what we're giving. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. All right, so we just got some regular old intro stuff going on. I love that everything kind of falls away.
Some suggest that Parker's powers include the male spider's ability to hypnotize females.
Stop, come on.
Yes, my spider lord.
All right, so that's kind of cute. There is something that does kind of catch my eye initially, and that is as soon as you walk in, you get a chance to see this top view and of him with his legs resting in a pretty interesting kind of way. It looks like a 4, right? It looks like it could be some kind of symbol. People don't normally kind of sit like that. I don't really know what the full details of what that could be, but I know that's not like a typical resting kind of like sit down thing for people. It looks like a 4 to me. It looks like it could be a backwards P. I don't know. Kind of grasping the straws on this one.
Parker's powers include the male spider's ability to hypnotize females.
Stop, come on.
Yes, my spider lord.
Can we just like stay up here all day? It is so crazy down there.
All right, so another big shout out to Zedinia and you're just eternal ravishing beauty. And even though they try to like dumb you down a little bit regarding, well, not dumb you down, to de-glorify your amazing beauty, it still shines through. Like, just look at you. Like, that's hard to cover up, man. That's tough to cover up. It seemed like it was a lot easier to do during some of the earlier versions of Spider-Man. Maybe it's because you were a lot younger and you hadn't, bloomed. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. But it's just very difficult to take your eyes off of you.
That's right, folks. Spider-Man.
Yo, she almost got him killed. So check this out, right? So I don't know if you've ever had an instance where you've been like driving in the car and somebody can't handle your driving style, or like take like your mom, for instance, and she's like holding on to like with dear life to that little lever that's on the top to keep her from flying out of the car. This is the perfect example of doing that while you're web slinging. Yo, check out the grip that she has on my man Peter Parker's face. Yo, she got one eye covered, and then her hair covers up the other eye. So what's gonna happen? Accident has happened, ladies and gentlemen. He's about to fly right into a sign of himself. Public enemy number 1. That could be said in a couple different ways. Public enemy because, his old boss, Jameson, is always trying to paint him as public enemy number 1, or he could be public enemy number 1 because he is doing the equivalent of web slinging and not paying attention to the road. That's almost on the same level as like texting and driving. So yeah, Peter, you got to be careful with that, man.
Parker.
Listen, I did not kill Mysterio. The drones did.
The drones that...
They must have snatched him up out of his sleep, because if you pay attention, as soon as you walk in, those aren't regular pants that he's got on. Those are pajamas. So if you're going to get a web slinger or you're going to get somebody that's going to be a superpower criminal, it's best to get them early in the morning before they've had their coffee.
The drones did.
The drones that are yours.
I find it kind of curious that they're allowing him to actually look at some of the evidence that's been brought against him. Let's take a look at some of this. Look at this, man. Like, he's actually checking out like some of these old files, and they're giving him more files to look at. So maybe he's actually helping the police and he's not being taken into custody. We see like this box. That's like one of those big banker boxes that holds evidence. That's just not one of those things that you typically do to somebody that you're trying to question, is actually bring out a whole bunch of evidence right in front of them.
Does any part of you feel relieved about all this?
What do you mean?
Hey, so we got some sketches in the background, so she's still drawing. I think in some of the earlier movies, she was kind of like that doom and gloom kind of person. And you see in the back with the sketch with like a cloud hanging over somebody's head. So she hasn't completely shook off the Addams family, the whole Wednesday Addams kind of vibe. She still kind of has that going on.
What do you mean?
His homies are like ride or die with him. This feels a lot like that moment when desegregation was happening and they were allowing the integration of the kids into the schools. Everybody booing while the kids are just trying to get in and start their day. I don't know if Disney is trying to go that dark with it, but that's the kind of vibe I got off just the top of my head. How do you get to school when everybody's despising you?
They'll lie to you. But how do you tell someone that you're Spider-Man? Now everybody knows. but this isn't about me.
So they're obviously surprised that somebody's walking in. I wonder who that person is because nobody is comfortable. This isn't one of those moments where the camera isn't being seen. They're paying attention. So that's a look of absolute fear. So I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe Happy? Maybe Happy's coming in to give some bad news. That could be it. Mary Jane could be coming in and give some bad news.
I've just been thinking about how to fix all of this.
All right, so we see a Halloween theme going on a lot because Halloween going on. We see the black cats in the background. We see the witches that looks like Doctor Strange, but it's definitely some Halloween vibes going on.
So, Peter.
All right, so we're back to Doctor Strange's house. A lot of damage happened to it because a battle was taking place, and it looks like everything's, all right so far. And then they open the door, and then you walk in there, and there's like snow everywhere. And you see my man over here to the left with the snow shovel, which leads me to believe that there's a hole in the roof, and they just got out of a big snowstorm. Yeah, but the funny thing, and it always will still remain funny, and you've probably seen it on a bunch of other reaction trailers as well, is that Doctor Strange has on a sweater and some jeans and like, what are those, like Timberlands? Is that what it is? Like, is Doctor Strange being Timboed up? And he's got his cup of coffee. Nothing about him looks like he's like really serious in this moment, but he's still got, his magic mystical cape on his back.
Sorry to bother you, sir.
Please, we saved half the universe together. I think we're beyond you calling me sir.
Okay.
Okay, so here's something that I thought was kind of funny. If you come back in and you take a look at his coffee mug. You can't really see it maybe in this frame, but when we get a close up to it, it's a little bit of a dad joke-ish.
Steven.
That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
When Mysterio revealed my...
We're getting a chance to take a look at the black Spider-Man suit. This is really cool because look at this. It's black and gold. It's super dope. So obviously something is going on in which Peter feels it is necessary to have to change suits. I wonder who made that because I don't know if that's going to be like a Stark suit, if that's something that he did himself. But it's awesome. Look at the look on everybody else's faces. I think they're more shocked at the fact that his suit has changed than they are the fact that it's actually Spider-Man in there. Yo, somebody's pointing off to the side like, yo, he went that way. So he may not necessarily be running from somebody as much as he's trying to chase down somebody. Yo, the suit is dope. Let me take just one more kind of look at that. That's pretty awesome.
Identity, my entire life got screwed up.
And here we go with the old original suit that he has. Big difference.
Maybe you could make it so that he never did.
Strange.
Don't cast that spell. It's too dangerous. Fine. I won't.
All right, so that is definitely the telltale moment. You and your friend are in the club, and he's like, I don't think you should have that extra drink. I think you've had enough. And you're like, nah, I'm not gonna have that extra drink. And you go and have that extra drink and mess it up for everybody with your drunk self. That is that moment. Yo, and it's also that moment, like he got his bags packed and everything. He's like, I'm not gonna sit here and be here for this madness that's about to unfold because I know how you get when you have too many. And it seems to me that Doctor Strange might be a little drunk off of his mystic vibes right now. Now, if we rewind this a little bit back, we're gonna get a chance to take a look at that cup that I was talking about earlier being a little bit funny. Yo, check that out. It says, oh, for fox's sake. It's definitely a fox. Oh, for fox's sake. So, hey, Disney with a little bit of a smidgen of adult humor line up in there.
My entire life got screwed up. I was wondering if maybe you could make it so that he never did.
Strange.
Don't cast that spell.
Here's the part that's a little bit disappointing regarding Peter, and that is you're the hero. Regardless if your secret identity has been revealed or not, you got to take that on the chin and just roll with it. I mean, it sucks, but for you to go back and mess with the entire timeline and ask Doctor Strange to change everything because you're uncomfortable in this particular moment, nah, man, it's not a good move. You made your bed, now you got to sleep in it. What's up with Doctor Strange? Like, you should be more responsible than this. You've already looked down hundreds and thousands of other different timelines during Endgame. And why would you go back to playing with stuff that you already are privy to and how dangerous that could be?
It's too dangerous. Fine. I won't. The entire world is about to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Wait, everyone? Can't some people still know?
All right, now check out some of the runes and the light insignia that you see around here. Now, we've seen this before. Some of those engravings, we've seen those in the Eternals trailers. That's all pretty familiar. I'm wondering if it's kind of like the same runescapes that you saw when Thor was coming down from the sky off of like the Rainbow Bridge. It seems like that's like the language of the universe, maybe. Look at all this stuff. So he's got one in his hand. He's got one around whatever that little thing is that's sitting in front of him. What is that? Presentation table? And then he's got like 3 more, 1, 2, 3, 4 more that's circling him. So maybe each one of those axes handles, different dimensions, time, length, space, 4-dimensional planes. And then it looks like it all converges. And then you see what looks like it could be like a tube or wormhole, maybe. Some of the lights kind of shifting around it. Bunch of lights. Then it looks like we're going backwards. Going forward. Yeah, it looks like we're going out. And then the 1, 2, 3, 4 rings kind of converge. It looks like it's more like 3 now. Kind of converge back into that little cauldron. So whatever it is probably done.
Can't some people still know?
That's not how the spell works.
So MJ's gonna forget about everything we've ever been through?
Stop tampering with the spell.
Oh, my Aunt May should really
Stop talking.
Okay, so here's something else that's kind of interesting too. Like the plane of existence that they're on looks like they're like in space, right? Like all of this stuff that's out here. I was trying to see if you could see like timeline threads as a direct result or connection to the end of Loki, where you see King the Conqueror at the end of time and seeing all of the different timelines branching off, but you don't really get a huge big clue of it, but you do know that they are definitely in the universe somewhere. And for Peter to be so smart is pretty much one of the greatest physicists out there as a young man. You would think he would be observant enough to realize that Doctor Strange casts a lot of these spells using words, and for him to be talking in the middle of it during something as important as going back in time, that you should be able to shut the blink up for a little bit and let my man do his work. And then how you gonna ask questions about, is this gonna affect Mary J and my relationship and all that other stuff after you've already asked for everybody to forget you? You got exactly what you were asking for, man.
What just happened?
We tampered with the stability of space-time. Multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
All right, so there's a whole lot that we could break down on this. Okay, so they're talking about dealing with the multiverse, and you see him jumping off of the building, and then we get that cool Doctor Strange effect. The buildings kind of falling in on themselves. Things aren't really what they seem. The world is falling in on itself. We see Spider-Man just falling in general. He must have been attached to something to be that far up in the air, or maybe the world has fallen in on itself so much that they're 20,000 feet into the sky, and now he's free falling to his death from standing on top of a building. But lo and behold, Doctor Strange has a Superman moment, capes flapping in. Look at this. It looks like he's about to be sucked into a world of nothingness, or a hole into this particular dimension per se. There's a whole lot of things we can kind of go with, but Doctor Strange is there to help save him. I didn't even realize that there was actual hole in there, because initially it just looked like the world just had like a dent in it. But there's actually a hole in there, and Spider-Man is falling into it. Now, later on, we get a chance to take a look at some of the villains, and we get a chance to see 2 of them that pop up, and that being Dr. Octopus and, of course, the Green Goblin. But here we kind of get a clue to Electro, because we see, after the world falls in on itself, we see that orange lightning kind of strike. I'm willing to bet that is Electro coming in, making some type of an appearance, because typically when you see lightning in here, it doesn't have that orangish kind of tint. That's kind of like Electro's kind of signature move. It's that yellowish kind of electricity. And now we get a chance to see serious Doctor Strange. He's got the hair out, and his hair's, he's got the hair combed. He's not wearing sweats anymore. He looks like he is about his business standing on this train. And he's putting something together. He's stacking rail cars on top of each other. Is it just me, or does it seem like he's attacking Peter Parker? That seems more of like an offensive kind of thing to kind of keep him from jumping.
The problem is you trying to live 2 different lives.
I like that. He's telling you, yo, the problem is you trying to live 2 different lives. And then the next scene is him doing that cool phase you out of your whole entire soul and existence push. So he's got a Spider-Man life, and then he's got, his regular old Peter Parker life that he like, yo, man, you over here talking all this trash about you want something new. Take that. I'm gonna push you right out of all of them Spider-Man vibes. And then he pushes him so far out that we get another whole shot of the whole other suit, the Endgame suit that he had before. So we've seen 3 different suits so far. We've seen his original suit, we've seen the black suit, and now we see his Endgame suit. Now there are rumors, and it's pretty much been confirmed that there will be other Spider-Man involved as well. So who's to say that some of the other Spider-Man may not have swapped out suits? Kind of like, how like NBA players at the end of the game, if you are an NBA fan, sometimes they'll swap jerseys. It could be that, you never know.
The 2 different lives. The longer you do it, the more dangerous it becomes.
All right, so we get a chance to see Happy with a bunch of laser beams sitting around him. Whose home is this that's burning? Remember earlier we saw a scene of Aunt May and Peter in the living room, it looks like, and somebody just comes in and they have that look of shock on their face. Is this what happens after they get done coming in, and then you see Happy sitting there? So I think I said earlier that maybe it's Happy coming into the room and they look shocked, but we see Happy there. Maybe this is like the end of Happy.
It becomes.
All right, so somebody kind of like comes in and startles Peter right there. Can't see what this is. It looks, see something in the shadow? Can't really tell, but it looks like something is appearing because you see a ring of fire kind of open up. It looks Spider-Man-ish, maybe, I don't know. I'm spitballing here. Is it a possibility that it could be Venom? I don't know. And now we see the black Spider-Man suit again with the lightning coming in. So it gives me the vibes of Electro again. And it looks like a big explosion of sand blowing up. So maybe that's a quick shot of Sandman as well. I'm trying to see if we see any like humanistic kind of forms in the sand. Maybe not. But that's definitely that yellowish lightning that we were talking about earlier. And then, of course, here's another villain reference when you see the Green Goblin's bombs coming out. So to me, this whole sequence is just villains. I mean, it could be Venom. We got Sandman and Electro. And we got the Green Goblin. And then, of course, it's going to close out with you hearing the voice. You see Doc Ock. Yeah, man. I mean, that pretty much to me was the whole introduction to the villains. So what's that, like 4 of them? Let's take a look at them again. So let's see. We got possibly Venom. Okay, maybe Sandman. And we see Peter Parker with the dark suit again. So maybe he's already acquired Venom's powers. Yeah, the symbiote's already been attached. We got Electro. Okay, so that's 3. We got Green Goblin's bomb. That's 4. We got Doc Ock, that's 5. So potentially 5 new villains in that villain sequence that we just saw.
Hello, Peter.
And then, like, to absolutely like put a nice cherry on top is that they show one of the original actors for the villains, which can help you safely maybe assume that the other villain references that we just saw are going to have their original actors as well. Yeah. It's not bad. So tell me what you think. I think one of the biggest reveals in that is the villain sequences that you see at the very end, and giving you like a really good safe assumption that some of the original characters are going to be there. Seeing Spider-Man in his black suit, seeing Peter in his black suit is pretty cool. He's going through all of his uniforms. I wonder if he's gonna go through every single rendition of all the uniforms that have been used. That could very well be the case. It looks like Happy's in trouble. It looks like his friends are in trouble. It looks like his auntie's in trouble. I think there's gonna be some repercussions that may push his decision for him to talk to Doctor Strange. Maybe it's not just a childish thing. Maybe somebody loses their life as a result of this and then he just can't deal with it. So he's gonna have a flashpoint moment and be like, yo, I need you to go back in time so that these horrible, terrible things don't happen. It could be that. Whatever the case, it's still amazing. It's a lot to break down. I know a lot of people may have been a little disappointed because they didn't get a chance to see all of the other previous Spider-Men, but we did get a chance to see some villains. And when the next trailer comes out, probably like another month or so, maybe we'll see another reveal regarding some of the other Spider-Men in general. It still looks amazing to me. It still looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think both Doctor Strange and Peter Parker being in the same space is going to add a lot of fun content because they are both quirky in their own ways, and watching them work together is gonna be jokes aplenty. Well, that's gonna be it for this particular breakdown. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's your boy SYNTELL. Make sure you hit the bell icon so that you know when all of the new stuff drops. Hit the like button as well because that lets YouTube know that you're digging what we're giving you. Other than that, yeah, that's about it, man. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will talk to you later. It's your boy. Take care.